Welcome to this presentation by the Learning Disabilities Association of Iowa. This topic is on parent rights in special education. IDEA, or Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, is a federal law which began in 1975. It established rules and guidelines for special education in order to make sure that individuals with disabilities had appropriate education and services. The major points are listed below. As you can see, special education does like to have acronyms, condensed versions. So the first one is Free Appropriate Public Education, referred to as FAPE, Appropriate Evaluation, Individualized Education Program, or IEP, Least Restrictive Environment, LRE, Participation in Decision-Making, Procedural Safeguards. You will see links at the bottom of each slide where you can look up further information. In Iowa, parents are given a copy of rights manual and are informed of their rights at least once per year. There will be other times as well that you will get that procedural safeguards manual. It can be found using the link at the bottom of this slide. There is also a summary of the procedural safeguards that may be provided at the meeting. You might need to ask for it as well, but there is an example condensed version also if you don't want to read through the entire manual. There's also a version of the procedural safeguards manual rights of families and students with disabilities from birth to 3. So there's a separate manual for those ages. As you can see, that one over on the side is from ages 3 to 21. Let's begin with FAPE, Free and Appropriate Public Education. There are many key points you can see right there. First of all, it is at public expense. You had at no cost to your family. So you will be able to receive these services free, at least normal services that are given to everyone. If there are extra costs that everyone pays, you might have to do those. It has to meet state standards by the State Department of Education. It is designed to meet the unique needs of learners of each eligible student, provided with that IEP, that Individualized Education Program. It is provided students 3 to 21, and also that you are continuing education, even if you are suspended or expelled, will still continue to receive educational services. It must be designed for the student to make progress in the general education curriculum. It is providing a chance for students to meet challenging goals, more than a minimal benefit, but with requirement to maximize potential. So you are given the Chevy version, but you don't have to be getting a fully loaded Cadillac version either. It does include related services and supports that provide for participation in extracurricular and other school activities. It also, in the final one, includes extended school year services when you actually are eligible for those, necessary to go along with the free and reduced public education. Parent participation rights. So the parent has the right to provide information for their child's evaluation. They should know what's happening at the meeting so they can be an active member of that and have meaningful participation of that group so they can make important decisions for their child and or bring an advocate to that meeting if they'd like to too. Parents have the notification rights as far as they should be able to be notified of a mutually agreed upon meeting time and place with that advanced notice so that they can make arrangements to be at the meeting. They also should be aware of what's happening at the meeting, any proposed changes or refusals, so that they can be prepared for that, bring an advocate if they'd like as well. It also looks at the called the age of majority, or what 18 rights go to the child and are transferred at that point as well. And you do have the right to receive notices in your main language that you read and understand, which also means that you would also have the right to a translator at the meeting so you can understand what is happening. Parent consent rights. Parents do have the ultimate decision to give, withhold, or withdraw consent for the initial evaluation, if you don't want that to happen, or a reevaluation, initial or continued special education placement. So if you want them to stay in special education or go into special education services, billing of insurance providers, electronic communication, if you want to have electronic communication, or if you'd rather have hard copies or things mailed to you, and also the release or exchange of information. Just know that no parent consent is needed to release information to another school when a child transfers to another school, to respond to a health or safety emergency, to auditors, or to comply with a court order or subpoena. Parent rights regarding records. It's also often referred to as FERPA, and looking at your rights as well as FERPA stands for Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. So you need to know or have the right to access and review records of your child. The school will have those, and you can ask for where those are at. You can also ask for corrections in those records if they are not correct. And again, that release of information. Independent educational evaluation. There may be points of disagreement that need to be resolved. Communication is key to understanding all points. If agreement can't be reached, the team may decide to consult with other professionals, set up another meeting to include more information at a later time. However, if agreement can't be reached, the parent has the right to ask for an independent educational evaluation. There's also more information at the link below. Parent also has dispute resolution rights. So if agreement can't be reached, there could be also mediation where you could have a trained resolution facilitator come to help with the meeting. You could also have due process hearing where an administrative law judge would look at what the outcomes were for the meeting. And also a state complaint where you could file a complaint with the Department of Education. Other considerations also happen in disciplinary proceedings. So looking at if a child is suspended for 10 consecutive days or more than 10 days in a year, also their rights need to be looked at. And finally, reimbursement. Sometimes parents have the right to be reimbursed for some expenses, such as private school expenses, when FAPE is an issue in that dispute. Thank you for participating in this session on parent rights and special education. If you are interested in learning more about the Learning Disabilities Association of Iowa, please contact us here at these links. Thank you.